Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business, and we're making education your business here at Jenzabar Jam 2023 in Orlando, Florida, at the beautiful Gaylord Palms Resort, as we talk to users, technology folks, CIOs. I say folks, that encompasses every regular academic position, I think, right? Amazing people in and around higher education today, doing the hard work of serving students and institutions. We've got a guest he's now a two-time guest co-host. He's back for the second time. We can't get rid of him. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Brozeni. He's Director of Managed and Technical Services at Jenzabar. Jim, welcome back to the mic.
Thanks for having me.
Did you take a break? Did you do cartwheels in the hallway, go to a session? What'd you do in there?
Quick break, yeah.
Quick break? You ate something, drank some coffee? Did you drink coffee?
Early, yeah.
Yeah, you should. We need to get like a triple shot. That's what I had, a triple shot. Can you tell? You tell I had a triple shot?
I think you might have had a triple shot.
Live in the now!
That's what I say. Live in the now. You got to get your shots in when you can. And I don't just mean caffeine shots. But we'll talk about that later. We have an amazing guest with us today. We're going to talk about leadership, technology leadership in higher education. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen. She's Karen Slaton. She's CIO at Merrimack College. Karen, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Are you excited to be here at Jenzabar Jam?
I am very excited to be here. I attended my first jam last year.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
So this is my second, and we are in the middle of a J1 implementation. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start there. First of all, let's start at Merrimack College. Where are you in terms of the institution located? Who do you serve, and how do you do the work?
So we are located north of Boston, so in Massachusetts, North Andover, Massachusetts. I say we're between 4,000 and 5,000 students, grad and undergrad.
Nice.
So we've been on a major growth trajectory over the last 10 years, which is a little bit different than.
I was going to say that's pretty atypical of higher ed institutions today.
And that's due to the leadership of our Christopher Hopi, our president. He's really been very aggressive with the college, and we've really been doing great things. So.
Amazing.
One of the things that you said that it's really important to growth is technology, hence where you come in here as the Chief Information Officer, because recruiting, retention, cybersecurity, you could list all of the technology touches everything today.
Right.
And that doesn't include, and I joked earlier, I'm like, AI, anyone? I mean, this is a whole nother thing, AI, internal policies for students, for use, for IP, everything. There is a lot for you to do. How is it that you're keeping everything straight? Let's start with the leadership question.
That's a good question. I when I first took this role a little over a year ago, I was mildly overwhelmed by all of it. But I think first, I have a great team. So I think, as a leader in higher ed, you need to identify the things that you're good at. You need to identify the things that you need help with. So I have some great directors that work with me. And together we, set the agenda for IT and, match the goals of the college and what we're trying to do. So,
and that's, it's important to have a good team, especially as you move into the cloud.
Yes.
First of all, how does that decision come to be, and how do you do it? Because the change management piece is really hard, right?
Yeah. So I think what has driven us to the cloud in a lot of things is number one, we don't have a huge staff to support the growth of the college. So
can you put it into context for us? Like, how many people are you talking for?
I have a staff of maybe 20.
Okay.
That's, across infrastructure, enterprise, help desk,
basically
telecommunications.
Everything.
Right. So I think we actually accomplish a lot given the staff that we currently have.
Yeah.
We are moving to the cloud, though. I think it helps us to be a little bit more secure. I like taking things out of the data center and into the cloud. It's less demand on our internal staff to keep those systems updated, to do basic upgrades. It allows the staff to focus on other things that we need to keep the college growing the way we have been over the last couple of years. So I have trusted partners like Jenzabar. We're doing the same thing with Transact. We're building out research. We're looking at a cloud solution for research and Amazon Web Service to continue to those day-to-day service type tasks can be in the hands of our partners, and it allows my staff to focus on the other more important goals of the institution.
Yeah, because there is still the day-to-day. Jim, when you talk about small staffs and you talk about implementations, how much support can Jenzabar provide? I mean, this is an important piece.
Yeah, I mean, our folks just do it every day, so the thing is, when updates come out, if you're on-prem hosting your own stuff, you have to read the documentation. You have to go through and make sure that you understand it, and you only do it once a quarter, maybe a couple times a year. It's very difficult for people to really get good at it, because if you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing.
That's right.
And that's kind of where we came in. We help clients, whether it be help maintaining their on-prem deployments or moving into our cloud environment. We moved Merrimack in with their current platform, their CX platform, into our cloud, and we help them manage that as well. And then we're also deploying Jenzabar 1 so that we can move them into the newer platform, but we're still helping them maintain the other software as well. So that's kind of where we come in, and been there, done that, do it every day, and I've got a great team as well that keeps things moving along.
So you never can do this.
Power off.
No,
We joke-
that's
no,
not
no, we
normally.
joke.
Yeah, it's not something.
Power off.
It's
Well,
not
and I
something we joke about, for sure.
Yeah, and we've also with Jenzabar, we've also moved PowerFades
Yeah.
into the cloud as well. So it's our CX platform and it's PowerFades,
Yep.
and just that one service has just taken so much stress off of my enterprise team because we're not experts at
Yeah.
PowerFades. And they come out with upgrades constantly.
Yeah.
And I know that has been just a huge weight off of my staff's shoulders, especially as we're trying to implement a new system in J1.
Karen, I'm going to give you a scenario question, and I want you to tell me how you would handle it, okay?
Sure.
Karen, you're my chief information officer, and you're making me transition and do things that I'm just not comfortable with. In fact, we've always done it this other way, and now you're making me change, and you're taking away my control. Why could you do this to me? What do you say? I mean, because change management is so hard, right?
It is. I approach everything like that, and I try to build trust. And I just feel that there's so many things in IT that start with relationships, and if you can build those relationships with people, and if they can begin to trust you and know that you're trying to do what's best for them, that goes a long way. So you build the trust with the folks that you're asking to change, and then you slowly
Some are harder than
get them
others.
there. They absolutely are. I'm not saying that that's as easy.
Yeah.
But I just feel that that's the best approach. Build the trust, and then slowly start bringing them along. I mean, it's a lot of what we do in IT as leaders is we have to come up alongside people. We have to understand what their issues are, why are they so afraid of change? What is it that
It's usually personal versus business related, right?
It usually always is. Right.
Like
I've been doing it this way for 15 years. You're making my life miserable.
Yeah, or you're gonna implement something that's gonna eliminate my job, so I can't let you have it.
Right. And I think what people need to understand is we're not eliminating
exactly
jobs. What we're doing is giving you your time back to do your job more effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So,
How can Jenzabar help with the change management, Jim? I mean, you must have services and that help institutions move along.
We do. I mean, we have a lot of conversations, with clients, and sometimes, I mean, there's with Merrimack and with other schools. I mean, I might have started this conversation about moving to the cloud, 5 or more years ago. And it really just took that long before they were comfortable, because people were like, well, I don't know, is this going to eliminate my job? No, we're going to refocus you to do other things to make the institution more, efficient. And that's, I think, really efficiency is what it comes down to. And once they can kind of get over, okay, I still have access to get to the data, I still can do the things,
and I'm still working here.
That's the main thing. And we do. I mean, we have a lot of folks that are really concerned about that. And I don't know of an institution that we hosted that they eliminated, positions. They just allowed those folks to be more efficient with their time and really just be more, overall productivity improves.
That's right.
True.
I want to transition, take a step left, and I want to talk about women in technology. Ed tech, technology careers in general are generally male-dominated field, and so you're a CIO. You're actually the second female CIO I've talked to today, which is spectacular. What advice do you have for other females, women leaders looking to ascend? Because you've done this. Broken that ceiling, right? I mean, you're leading, not only you're leading institution from a technology perspective, internally, you're outward facing to thousands and thousands of students and alumni with technology. So you have a very important role. What advice do you have for other women in leadership?
I would say don't be intimidated. It's funny because when I was first, when the role of CIO was being vacated, we were going to do an external search. And when I was having a conversation with the president about that, I heard myself saying, I can do this job. In my brain, I was saying, what are you doing? But I was confident enough to say, I can do this. And he had the confidence in me to give me the opportunity. And if I hadn't spoken up and if I hadn't approached it with confidence, then we might have a very different scenario today, and I might have a very different job. So believe in yourself, because you haven't reached this level by not having the skill set. But I think a lot of people just feel intimidated, or maybe they feel that they can't do something, or maybe they're afraid of the change that it's going to bring. But, it's great to challenge yourself. And I felt like I was challenging myself when I spoke up. And I'm very glad that I did, because I do feel like I am making an impact at Merrimack. And I don't see myself as a role model, but thank you.
You should. What is Karen today say to Karen 10 years ago that you would need to hear, that you need to hear now? Like, what's the thing that you know now? You always hear your mom or dad say that when you're growing up. If I knew what I knew then, what I know now, what is it that prepares you for the future that you wish you knew?
I feel very fortunate in my role, in that I've had so many different roles in IT coming up. I started as a programmer. When you are a programmer and you can communicate with other people, you quickly get plucked into project management. So I've been a project manager. I've been a network infrastructure director. I've been on the academic side. I guess, I kind of feel like a jack of all trades. You don't have to be super great at one thing to become a chief information officer. I have knowledge of a little bit of everything. And like I said at the beginning, if you can surround yourself with the right people to bring your knowledge level a little bit higher in certain areas, then you're set. Don't be afraid to help other people be successful, because the more that you help other people be successful, the more successful you will be.
All right. Well, that was impressive.
We like that advice here. Now let's transition back to talking about technology in the workplace. As you look at the future, cybersecurity becomes one of the most important things. I'm sure you're dealing with it every day,
Sure.
right? Hacks, and we know higher ed is one of the hackable industries. And now we've got Graham, what is the GLBA? We've got the student document protection. How do you keep that straight? How can Jenzabar help you keep it straight?
Oh, that's a good question.
Can you keep it straight?
Well, again, I don't try to do that on my own. So I do rely on a lot of reading. I rely on my infrastructure team to stay on top of things. I rely on my vendor partners to be providing information. This is what you need to be looking out for. These are the things that you should be planning for. I'm not adverse to going to those places for information. I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I think when you're a leader, you have to admit that you don't know everything. You don't have to know everything.
And if you did know everything yesterday, it changed overnight.
It absolutely,
and so you don't know it today.
Absolutely. but you just have to constantly be focused on it and have a plan for it each and every year. I mean, cyber is, we made some great strides at Merrimack this year with our cyber plan, rolling out multi-factor authentication, rolling out endpoint detection and response. We've done very well, but we're not near finished.
Yeah.
Because the second you roll out EDR, the next thing comes, and you have to, we have so many other things we have to focus on in order to be prepared and just try to stay one step ahead of the
Right.
folks trying to constantly penetrate our network.
Hmm.
We have one of those visual network maps, so you can actually see the attacks coming, and it's very scary.
Wow.
Agree.
What's
Yeah.
happening? So talk about with Jenzabar. I mean, you must be focusing on this
Yeah.
like 24/7.
Yeah, security. Bill Cairo is our director of security, and I work hand in hand. We're constantly focused on security and what's the next thing that we're going to do to improve. You mentioned, EDR, endpoint detection and response.
I was going to say for the rest of us that have no idea what EDR
yeah,
is.
exactly. That's been a big focus over the last couple of years. And we never stop, so it's constantly looking for threats and making sure systems are updated and always watching for, the next thing that's going to happen. I'll say we've had, in our cloud environment, we connect back to campus. So there is a network connection back to, so that they can access certain areas of the product. And we've had, I think we had 8 in 2022 that, something was happening on campus, and we were able to, we saw it. Our endpoint detection and response, team basically said, "Hey, something's going on. They're trying to get in from here."
Mm.
We were able to alert those clients and let them know, "Hey, you have a problem on your network that's trying to get into ours." We're making, Bill and I are making phone calls at 2 a.m, trying to get a hold of people to make sure that they're aware that something's going on. And it's good to hear that Merrimack has, EDR deployed on their campus. We have a lot of schools that do not. And I think security is a focus that, higher ed in general, really needs to, buckle down and really start working on, because I think there's some schools that still need some help. And that's probably because of resource, issues.
Small staffs, resources, dollars.
Trust me, it is crazy to try to keep up, with everything that's going on. And if we can offload a little bit of that by managing the infrastructure and the updates and those kind of things, maybe those resources can kind of be reallocated to focus on security, focus on other needs that they have, on-prem.
And I'll add to that. I don't think you can use the small staff as an excuse, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
You need to figure out ways to make things happen. Just pick one thing. Pick
Right.
one thing that you can be successful with in your fiscal year and do it. If it's multi-factor authentication, that's a nice one to start with, because
Exactly.
It doesn't cost anything.
That's what I was going to say,
Yeah,
too.
it's pretty easy.
I'm sure that there's systems in place that you just have to turn it on. You just have to have a rollout plan.
Yep.
We did ours in a phased approach. We rolled it out to faculty and staff first, worked out all of our little kinks, and then we rolled it out to students. So it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, in moving to the cloud and relying on your vendor partners, the patching, the constant upgrades of the operating systems, that's being handled by somebody else. So that is one of the main reasons to go to the cloud.
Take some of the stress off, some of the pressure.
It does. Because every server that's sitting in our data center needs to be constantly monitored. It needs to be patched and upgraded, and that takes cycles away from your staff.
Yeah.
So the more you can offload some of that, the better off you are.
The more you could focus on cybersecurity, right?
Yeah,
And moving
and
resources.
it's a full-time job in itself.
It actually it is a
It
full-time
should
job,
be.
and a lot of schools don't have that full-time job allocated. So now we're relying on our infrastructure resources, who are also worried about switches and APs and construction and everything else. So the more that you can offload some of those things into the cloud and onto other groups, I think is the better, especially today.
And we're actually really noticing that need. We've been working on our IT services offering for a while now, and I think that's going to maybe help. Once you move all of your Jenzabar software to the cloud, okay, you've offloaded that, but they maybe still have some needs on-prem.
Right.
There's some things that they can't fill. They can't get approval for a full-time position,
Right.
but can we offer, 10 hours a week to do something, or can we offer, 20 hours a week and have different skill sets on our team to be able to supplement that staff? And that's really something that we're focusing on right now to help schools get there.
Yeah.
And what was endpoint detection?
Response.
Yeah, I mean,
EDR.
I knew what it was, but I wanted to ask again for the
Yeah.
audience. Anyway, what I like about the conversation that you guys just had is that for somebody that works in enrollment and marketing like myself, please take care of those issues for me. I want nothing to do with
That's right.
cybersecurity.
Yeah, exactly.
It is wow. And by the way, we didn't even get to talk about AI, but isn't this the next? I mean, what are the policies? How are we handling it? How are students using it? How are faculty using it? How do you protect your IP? Which is we're seeing big companies getting lawsuits now about people uploading their IP. It is the next. We're not going to talk about that today. We're only going to say that it is an up and coming topic that we're all dealing with. Agreed?
Agree.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a pleasure. My now two-time guest co-host. He's Jim Brozeni. He's Director of Managing Technical Services with Jenzabar. Jim, can we get you back again?
I don't think today, but I'll happy to join another session when
Talk
you need me.
to our handler. She's telling me what to do.
Sure.
So yeah, talk to her. Of course, what a pleasure. Really, really a pleasure. See, she was a little nervous at the beginning. She settled in. She gave us great information. Here she is, my guest today. No, your guest today. She's Karen Slaton. She's CIO at Merrimack College. Karen, anything else you want to say about Merrimack before you go?
Oh, well, I mean, I love working at Merrimack. It's, again, we've been on an upward trajectory, and I can't wait to see what we're going to be doing next, to be honest.
That's amazing.
Keeps me on my toes, and I love it.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, you've just EdUp'd.